Welcome to the Interstellar Sleep Archives. I am the Archivist, an individual with a name of no importance, a quiet traveler gathering bedtime stories from distant species, cultures, and civilizations across the galaxy in order to understand the hearts of those who dwell among the stars. Every culture teaches its children what matters most through stories told before sleep, tales that reveal the hidden values of a civilization. Some stories teach patience, some teach honor, others teach the quiet secrets of survival. Each night, the Archivist reveals a tale from the Interstellar Sleep Archives. Tonight's record from the archives is classified as Beta Quadrant Cultural Narratives, subclassification, Youth Instructional Tales. This entry comes from the Kaelon. For cultural context, little is known of the Kaelon because they are a xenophobic culture. They neither encourage nor welcome contact with other species. In fact, Kaelons rarely leave their home planet, with the exception of members of their naval fleet, whose primary purpose is to enter orbit to scare off or chase off anyone who approach their planet. What is known about the Kaelon is that their homeworld, Kaelon II, orbits a giant red star that has been slowly dying for generations. The only other thing which is known about the Kaelon is no one lives beyond their 60th birthday. While Kaelon customs may shock off-worlders, their stories reveal a people who value the preservation of their society above all else. The people of Kaelon II are defined by a deep sense of duty and a commitment to the stability of their world. Their most sacred tradition is the Resolution, a ritual where every citizen, upon reaching their 60th year, chooses to end their life in the presence of their loved ones. To a Kaelonian, this is not a tragedy, but a celebration of life intended to avoid the infirmity and dependence of old age, ensuring that the resources and energy of the planet remain with the young. Their folklore teaches that to be a threat to the world's order is a fate worse than death. This is the story they tell their children about when the shadows grow long. And now, without further ado, the Interstellar Sleep Archives presents The Bedtime Story, The Sunset Feast. Long ago, in a city built of pale stone where the windows were always oriented toward the fading amber glow of the Kaelon sun, lived a young boy named Ellen. Ellen lived in a house of scholars and scientists, a place where every book was a record of the effort to save their world. His favorite person in all the world was his grandfather, Batari, a man who could explain the movement of the stars and the secrets of the soil with a voice like a gentle breeze. But a change was coming to their home. The banners of the Resolution were being hung in the central hall, shimmering silks of gold and violet. Batari was approaching his 60th year, and the time for his final feast was drawing near. Ellen felt a cold knot of anxiety and confusion in his chest. He watched his grandfather in the garden, still strong and vibrant, his eyes clear and his mind sharp. "Grandfather," Ellen whispered one evening as they watched the sun dip below the jagged horizon. "Why must you leave? You are not like the withered leaves of the autumn. You still have so many stories to tell. The world is better because you are in it." Batari sat Ellen beside him on a stone bench. "Ellen," he said softly, "you look at the sun and see only its light. But do you know the story of the first harvest?" "In the earliest days of Kaelon," Batari began, "long before we understood the mechanics of the stars, our people did not know the Resolution. We lived until our bodies were like husks and our minds were like fog. We clung to the world like a shadow that refuses to vanish even when the lamp is extinguished. A great famine came to the land," Batari continued. "The sun was dimming, just as it is now. The young parents worked the fields, but the grain was scarce. Because the elders would not step aside, they continued to consume the water and the food that the children needed to grow. The villages became places of sorrow, not because people were dying, but because the new life was being choked by the old. We were a world of ghosts trying to live in a house that was too small." Ellen looked down at the dry earth of the garden. "But that was long ago." "The lesson remains, little one," Batari replied. A man who stays beyond his time is like a tree that refuses to drop its leaves. He blocks the sun from the saplings below. He becomes a greater threat to his world than a dying sun. To love Kaelon is to understand that we are each a single note in a grand symphony. If one note refuses to end, the music cannot continue. The resolution is our way of saying that the future belongs to you, not to us. Ellen felt a tear slip down his cheek. But I will be lonely. You will have my stories, Batari said, placing a hand over Ellen's heart. And you will have the knowledge I have passed to you. Because I leave while I am still Batari, while I am still strong and wise, you will remember me with dignity. You will not see me fade into infirmity or become a burden to your mother. My life ends as a gift to yours. The night of the sunset feast arrived. The house was filled with music and the scent of spiced nectar. Batari walked among his friends and family, laughing and sharing wisdom, his spirit as vibrant as the banners on the walls. Ellen watched him and realized that his grandfather wasn't afraid. He was proud. He was completing his duty to the Republic with the same precision he had used to study the stars. When the time came for Batari to step onto the final path, he leaned down and whispered to Ellen, "The sun sets so that the stars may shine. Now, it is your turn to be the light." Ellen watched him go, and for the first time, the knot in his chest loosened. He understood the Kaelon lesson. True love is knowing when to let go so that those you love may thrive. On that night, Ellen didn't just lose a grandfather, he inherited a world, and he promised to guard it until his own sun reached the horizon. And so, in cities of pale stone beneath a fading sun, young Kaelonians fall asleep remembering that life is a circle of sacrifice. They learn that dignity is found in selflessness, and that the greatest legacy is the space we leave for others to grow. They dream of a future where their own lives will be a perfect note in the eternal song of their people. Did you enjoy this bedtime story? If you did, great. Like and subscribe. If not, the Interstellar Sleep Archives contains many more tales, including stories from civilizations where children dream under very different stars. In fact, some children have never seen the stars. It's also intriguing to know that there are civilizations where children have never dreamt. And now, the Archivist seeks your guidance. Which civilization should we pull from the archives next? Should we explore the telepathic bonds of the Binar? The cold discipline of the Breen? Or perhaps you're curious about the long-lived El-Orians? Let me know in the comments. Or follow me on Instagram to comment. Sleep well, fellow travelers.